Good evening, Charanpreet. The national campaign has made its way to our region today. But why Grimsby?
Well, Ian, this is a key battleground in this general election campaign. Now, under the new constituency boundaries, which you'll hear a little bit more about later, this seat is Grimsby and Cleethorpes. Now, Labour needs around a 12% swing to win this from the Tories. From 1935 to 2019, this was Labour's stronghold. Then it went blue. So tonight's debate is happening on hotly contested territory. Now, as you say, this is the spin room. This is where journalists from the different broadcasters will all be watching tonight's debate. They'll be hanging on to every word said by those politicians. But the question is, can the same be said for voters in Grimsby? This is historically an area with low voter turnout. In 2019, turnout was around 54% here, which is 14% lower than the rest of the country. That really matters because that's what I've been hearing from voters when I've been out and about talking to them. People saying, why bother voting? There's no difference between the two major parties. Well, Sir Keir Starmer was at Grimsby Institute today, publicising Labour's plans for the roads. The Conservatives had something similar in their manifesto yesterday, though, and I put it to the Labour leader that the average voter in Grimsby is losing track of the difference between the two. Are you giving people who picked the Tories in 2019 here a credible alternative?
Yes, there's a huge difference between us, and you will see it in the manifestos, because what you saw yesterday was a manifesto from the Tories which was promise upon promise which is unfunded. And if there's one thing that Rishi Sunak was expected to do, it was to provide stability after the tragedy of Liz Truss. He's become the next version of Liz Truss with his manifesto. There couldn't be a bigger difference between the two parties.
Are you being straight with people about what's achievable? House prices here in Grimsby are up by 8% compared to 2% nationally. Disposable incomes are lower than the rest of the country. People want to see real change, and they're not convinced that you're going to be able to provide that.
There will be real change in our manifesto. Nothing's going to change under the Tories, it's just more of the same.
Well, you might have noticed Sir Keir Starmer just trying to edge out of frame after I'd asked my first question there. Of course, he did have to prepare for tonight's debate, but it is the case that neither he nor Rishi Sunak have been doing much regional media in the Calendar region so far. Rishi Sunak was in North East Lincolnshire earlier at a school, but no regional interviews. So in some sense, Grimsby has been a little bit neglected on the campaign trail until tonight, of course. Nevertheless, Grant Shapps is confident of the Tories' chances.
We have a plan, and that plan is very clear, bold, with ideas about securing the future of this country. I so far have absolutely no idea whatsoever Keir Starmer and the Labour Party will do for this country, apart from ask for a blank cheque to run it without any real controls.
Whether or not that will convince tonight's live audience, many of them from Grimsby, here in Grimsby Town Hall, remains to be seen.